So I want to take this opportunity to do a quick summary of what we've accomplished over the past year with the company and explain where we're headed to from here. So investors who follow EV&I news closely will know this spring we tripled our land package, and that provides us an incredible amount of potential, more than 30,000 hectares and more than 100 kilometers of prospective strike. We want to be methodical about how we explore it though, less Yosemite Sam and more clinical strikes. So let's start with a quick review of the first drilling we did, the 4,200 meters last year on phase one. Paul, can you run us through what we did in phase one?
Sure. In the second half of last year, we got into what we called the Langmuir project and drilled around the company's starter historic resource at W4. We had some great hits in phase one, including 8.66% nickel over 1.1 meters, which really was a great hit. We did the math on this, and it works out to be approximately 30 grams per ton gold equivalent, or 1 ounce per ton. Plus, we had 3 meters of 1.27% nickel and 15.7 meters of 1.14. Also, the W4 sulfides are very unique in that they're composed of mostly pentandite, which have very high nickel tenors, ranging from 18 to greater than 40% nickel.
And when we say nickel tenors, we refer to the calculated content of nickel in 100% sulfide. So that indicates that the ore would generate a very nice concentrate grade.
That's correct. We'll soon have a better understanding of that with the meta-analysis currently underway at SGS. Overall, the 20 holes of phase one last year were a great success, confirming the W4 mineralization extends east and west and is open at depth.
And this year's drilling, which we call phase two, that's had us drilling some other anomalies in addition to putting more holes into W4.
Yes, phase two is mainly focused on getting a better understanding of the high-grade W4 mineralization. Our first round of drilling was completed for MET samples to send off for testing.
And that's to better understand the specifics of what the recoveries and the concentrate could look like from W4.
And we'll have those results later this summer. We received assays back for the first 3 holes of the program and disclosed those a few weeks ago.
Right. That 48.6 meters of 1.31% nickel, that briefly woke up the market to the high-grade potential of our project.
Those were nice results, but I'm more interested in the assays we will soon be receiving for the historic or the holes testing the extension of W4 mineralization between 200 and 500 meters from surface. The historic resource was generally limited to between surface and 200 meters, so the phase two drilling will begin to show what's beneath that.
And we'll be getting those back from the lab over the coming weeks, so we'll be better able to understand the potential of what we're calling the W4 extension.
The combination of the MET analysis and the phase two drilling will give us a very good indication of the potential for that deposit, including the W4 extension. Again, this is the high-grade near-surface mineralization that has been mined historically across this part of the Shaw Dome, and I believe based on my 30-plus years of experience exploring komatites, and more specifically in the Shaw Dome to the southeast of Timmins, that once you find this type of deposit, they tend to occur in clusters and zones. And the team is very excited to keep finding more of this mineralization on our property.
Okay, so today's news is that we've now begun our phase three of drilling, and this time testing our large-scale Carr-Lang target in the northeast Shaw Dome. Paul, do you want to tell us a bit about that?
Yes, large-scale targets are new for EV&I. We define these as exploring for near-surface komatitic dunates and peridiotites containing between 0.3 and 0.5% nickel.
And when you were exploring for nickel on the same land 25 years ago, you were only targeting deposits of 0.6 nickel or better. And if you didn't get that, you moved on, right?
That's right. Mount Keith-type mineralization used to be our minimum, but the market has since changed and now rewards these large-scale deposits. Our phase three is going to start testing an enormous dunite peridotite body that we've identified through airborne mag plus extensive sampling and mapping.
We've worked together a long time, and I've not heard you use the term enormous before.
This time it fits. The trend up Carmen-Langmuir is in total more than 10 kilometers long and is exposed to surface. Dozens of samples have been taken from outcrops averaging more than 0.3% nickel. It truly could be enormous.
So when we think of these large-scale deposits, what, from your perspective, do you think will begin to differentiate them and help determine which ones will become economic?
Well, it's the same with all deposits. It starts with grade. 0.25% versus 0.35% may seem like a small difference, but it becomes massive when you start to calculate the economics. Secondly, I think about the proximity of processing. Carr-Lang is located approximately 20 kilometers from 3 existing permitted processing sites. Next is overburden. At our target, the rocks outcrop the surface, and I estimate that there's an average of less than 10 meters of overburden over the entire area. Again, it doesn't seem like much, but that's a major difference from 30 to 40 meters of overburden once you start running economics. And finally, it's access. A great thing about where we're drilling for phase 3 is the logging activity over the past few years lets you drive the pickup truck right to the drill site. Most everything has been cleared of trees and vegetation and the network of roads established.
So when will we start getting results on phase 3?
We've started drilling now, and it takes about 6 to 8 weeks to get our results from the lab. So I'd hope we'd have our initial results from Carr Lang by September.
And how long do you think we're going to be drilling up there?
We could be drilling there for years. There's that much potential for these dunites across our property, but we're going to be methodical. And once we better understand the geology, we will begin to have numbers on scale and decide the best areas to target. And that will be best to analyze and pull into a technical report.
So our strategy is to combine the high-grade mineralization like we have at W4 and has been historically produced from across the Shaw Dome with the enormous potential of the large-scale mineralization we hope to prove up in these dunites in the north. This combination, we hope, will position us for our objective of building a clean nickel business in the Shaw Dome. So Paul, after our phase 3 drilling up in the large-scale Carr Lang target, where do you see us going with phase 4?
I see us returning to the W4 extension for infill drilling between the 200 and 500 meters depth to define the mineralization for a potential indicated resource.
So that'll have us combining the data from phase 2, which we've just completed, and we hope to soon have results for, with filling in gaps.
Yes, I don't want to get too far out of my skis, but I'm very excited about seeing the phase 2 data this summer on W4 and already thinking about improving the drill density in that area.
Okay, then what else?
I think we'll look at some other additional high-grade targets. This could include some drilling around the Langmuir number 2 mine, where there was historic mineralization left in the ground when the mine was shut down in the late 1970s due to ground conditions and deteriorating metal prices.
What was the size of that?
Based on the historic documents, they had approximately 300 to 400,000 tons at around 1.5% nickel, and they had some very nice hits in their drilling at depth below the active mining levels. These included 3.8% nickel over approximately 3.4 meters and 1.2% nickel over about 15 meters. There's a lot of historic data, but there are some spots I'd love to put some more holes in. In addition, we have some very other interesting anomalies like the Croxall target to the west. After phase 3 up in the Dunites, I'd have loads of spots I would love to prioritize to find additional high-grade mineralization in W4.
So that would bring us into 2023. We'd likely want to wrap this all together into a new Shaw Dome project technical report.
Yes, this is all preliminary planning, of course, because maybe we find something really special and stick that, or maybe we pull a new report just on that zone. But right now, I say our new project-wide technical report, including an updated on a high-grade W4 resource. That would include data from the completed phase 1 and phase 2 drilling, plus additional meters if we get back into the W4 extension in phase 4.
And so that extension would mainly be from the 200 to 500 meter depth?
That's right. Plus, we have more drilling that filled in holes in the upper part as well. Rest assured, our team now has a better understanding of the full mineralized zone. In addition to W4, I'd want to include results from phase 3 drilling that we launched this week on Carr Lang. We'll see where that takes us, but it's a very interesting large-scale project. We would also have more data from the high-grade targets, which may include Langmuir number 2, where I'd like to see more mineralization like that 3.8% nickel over 3.4 meters, and new untested anomalies like Croxall.
There's lots for you to go to explore, isn't there?
From a drilling perspective, there's more than 100 kilometers of potential trend on our property. Makes prioritization of opportunities almost a daily exercise.
So for the tech report, in addition to the drilling, we'd include as much as we have, as far as we get in the streams of the clean nickel research we have underway now.
Yes, that will include the results from the carbon capture and bioleaching analysis we currently have underway. Sean, we both met the research teams last week during the PDAC, and it's very clear their enthusiasm with the results.
Absolutely. The team working on the bioleaching especially, they're very excited. So in addition to all of this, we continue to actively try to stitch together more properties into our package, and we'll see if any of that M&A lands. We may have even more targets and data to include in a future tech report. From all this work, we'll have a pretty steady flow of news coming over the horizon. First off, we'll have the phase 2 results back from the lab and out to the market this summer.
Yes, that will start within the next few weeks and then flow through summer. Then we will get back to the assays on our own grab samples from the Carr Lang project. And then by the end of summer, we'll start having the phase 3 results back from the lab.
And those, if things go according to plan, will be a steady flow of news for what hopefully turns out to be consistent drilling.
For phase 3, the trick will be how consistent and how large. Then hopefully we'll get back into some high-grade deposits with the phase 4. And as we say, we will begin to outline the huge potential of the Shawdome project.
Absolutely. And the whole team is excited to see how we can wrap it all together and really build a clean nickel business.